Hey, are you a complainer or a doer? It's Jen here. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. Today we're talking about whether you're a complainer or a doer, or maybe someone else that you know is a complainer or a doer. And here's the difference. A complainer is someone who, complains, of course. Someone who's griping about things all the time and never actually doing anything about them. Whereas a doer is a solution-oriented problem solver who just takes action and gets things done. Maybe complains about it first, but handles it anyway. Okay, so let's talk about the difference between those things and how you can switch from complainer to doer if you are in that complainer category and you maybe didn't realize it. It's okay, it happens. I'm Jen Kunkel. I'm the creator of the Wild Worth Method to transform you from your insignificant self, feeling invisible and unfulfilled, to unleash your wild, savvy self, where you know exactly who you are, what you stand for, what you want your life to look like, and you are taking purposeful, inspired action towards that life. And most importantly, you're enjoying the journey along the way. So part of enjoying that journey is to have an attitude of like getting things done versus having an attitude of looking around yourself and seeing all the things to be negative about and complain about. Now, if you've listened to me for a little bit and going forward, you'll see that I'm not really about negative, positive. Like, I'm about authenticity, like being real and how you really feel and what you really think. At the same time, you can always look at things from a perspective that is positive versus negative, because if you're coming from the more negative, now how I define negative is probably where the difference lies, actually, because negative isn't just when you feel sad or upset or frustrated, because sometimes we really feel those things and we need to give ourselves permission to feel those things, feel maybe frustrated or stressed out about a situation or something. So that's not the same as acknowledging that reality is not the same as being a complainer. The complainer difference is when you just focus only on the things that are going wrong. It's like a victim mentality, like you don't have any control over it. But a lot of times people complain about things that they do have control over, and they might complain about something that another person's doing that they themselves do. So, I'm sure we've all done that, where you maybe kind of see someone else's mess or flaws, or not really flaws, but you see someone else's circumstances, and you would prefer something different, but it's kind of like behaviors, actions, attitudes, whatever the case is, something that you dislike and complain about, yet it's something that you actually do yourself too. So we've heard the saying that you're a mirror, everything in the world is a mirror for you. So that's a whole different topic though, so we're not going to go down that road. But what I'm getting at is that complaining isn't the same as just whatever you're feeling. So if you just acknowledge something and then move forward, it's like being a complainer is where you're stuck in complainer mode and not really actually doing anything about it. You're kind of just, you're projecting this negative energy because you're not actually solving the problem. You're just griping about the problem. And it's, when you're a complainer, it would be something that you do as a pattern and not just, I'm acknowledging that this is going on. So there's like kind of a fine line, I guess, at the beginning, but you can kind of, once you're around somebody, you can see that there's a pattern. So if you are doing this, if you find yourself constantly complaining about the same thing over and over, but not actually taking any action to do anything about it to solve the issue, then you might be a complainer as opposed to a doer. So a doer would take the attitude of, okay, I'm acknowledging that this is going on, and now I'm going to figure out a way to solve the problem. So it's a solution-oriented problem solver. Do you see the difference? There's a distinction there. It's about being in the victim mentality versus personal responsibility, which is a piece of one of the pillars in the wild worth method. It's actually a piece of the third pillar where we eliminate the baggage that you're carrying around that holds you back, that keeps you from moving forward more quickly and more easily. So it's really a mindset of personal responsibility versus victimhood. So when someone's complaining a lot, it's coming from that, you might not see it this way, that mentality of not being in control. Okay, so not that we're in control of everything, but just it sort of feels like, oh no, I can't do anything about this, so I'm just gonna complain and vent about it. When usually there's some solution somewhere. It might not be a comfortable solution. Maybe you need to have a conversation with somebody about something that is bothering you, or maybe you need to take action yourself and do something. And then sometimes it's just a matter of clearing, like it's actually noticing something that upsets you, frustrates you, bothers you, even if it's someone else's actions, behaviors, words, whatever the case may be, or just the way they're being. Like if that triggers you, that might actually be a reflection of something that's going on deeper within you, that is just a pattern that you need to release and to kind of let go of that victimhood and instead shift into the personal responsibility mode, where you become this action-taking, problem-solving doer. Okay, so that's just kind of a high-level overview of the concept. So the first thing to do is to take a look. Is that where you're coming from? Are you coming from this place of complaining a lot, or are you acknowledging things that you dislike and actually taking action around them? So if you struggle with that, if you see that in yourself or in someone else, don't go processing other people though. just know that there's something else going on there if it's someone else. So, when we do work on ourselves. Nobody else likes to be told, hey, you're being a complainer and we need to look at that. No, it's up to them to look at that. So, okay. Not that you don't have conversations with people like that. You can, of course, if it's someone who's open and receptive to it. If they're not, it doesn't usually go well. So maybe reconsider that. So let's just look within, look at ourselves and say, hey, am I being a complainer? Am I coming from this place of victim mode, disempowerment, or am I coming from a place of I'm acknowledging this and solving the problem? Now, if you're not, if you are coming from the place of complainer mode, then you may have some deeper work to do. So don't just expect it to brute force change overnight. Maybe you can take some steps towards it, but there might be something underlying that's kind of keeping you going back to that habit and that pattern, So take a look at that. Let me know your thoughts. If you like this, spread the love, share it around, give it to someone else, comment, let me know what you're thinking, and we will see you next time. In the meantime, remember, you are more powerful than you know. Much love. Have a great day.